gang, and welcome to Tunbridge Wells Then and Now Film 4. I'm really sorry that it's taken so long to get to film number 4, but life has kind of got in the way of late. But we're continuing with our then and nows and remembering Victoria Road. I'm standing outside the very first house I ever used to live in here in Victoria Road, and right across the other side of the road used to be Golding Street. I'm just going to pan around so you can see that, because you know what it looks like now. But right opposite, where, just roughly where it says inn, there used to be a blacksmith. We mentioned it before, and I've been contacted by lots and lots of people. We're going to try and mention everybody that's been in touch, but it was Chris Hooper who remembered the blacksmiths opposite, and it was a company called J.T. Levings, and he confirmed that I was right in remembering the fact that the boss who used to run it was a guy called Don, and I remember him. He had black curly hair and he used to fancy my mum like mad. He was forever chatting her up. It was really funny. But that was right there opposite, and then right next to J.T. Levings was Golding Street, which was basically a little kind of tunnel that went up an alley, and that was roughly where the car park entrance is now. And there used to be a little old lady that lived in the very first house right next to the alley, and she was always out in her garden sweeping up. Well, it's not a garden, it was a yard, sweeping up. But I want to mention a few people that have been in touch, because so many of you have been in touch and left comments, and your memories of Victoria Road and Tunbridge Wells. Just keep them coming, because it's just great to get all your comments. But I want to say hi to Sue O'Reilly. She lived at number 3 Victoria Road, which was to the left of the church, which was a little bit further up. You remember the entrance to the Royal Victoria Place has used the facade of the church, and I'd forgotten that there were houses actually joined onto the church, but there were. And she used to live at number 3, which was attached to the left of the church. She moved into it in 1984, and she was told on Christmas Eve that it was to be demolished to make way for the Royal Victoria Place. Hi to Tom Wilson, whose parents used to run the Chocolate Box, and the premises for that are still on Camden Road, which is kind of nice. Jim Cavey was in touch, and he said that Ernie Scales, the bookmaker, used to live in Victoria Road. Frank Bloomfield, hi Frank. Frank lived in 74 Victoria Road, and I want to say a big hello to Melanie Maybe, because I've met Mel only once and spent some time with her, but since then through Facebook and our association with Tunbridge Wells Photo, she's become a great friend and a great source of brilliant photographs. So hi Melanie, and thank you very much. She also found the OS maps, because we were talking about Francis Terrace that used to be up on Victoria Road opposite the church. That was demolished around the late 60s, early 70s, and of course that was the time that I was in Norwich, so I don't remember any of that. Dawn Hurst, hi Dawn. She says her grandfather lived at 16 Francis Terrace in 1871. He was living in 36 Victoria Road in 1871. Brilliant. A big hello to Susanna Lurado, I hope I pronounced that right. She was thrilled to be reminded in the last film of the egg shop, and was just so chuffed to see photographs of it. So thanks Susanna, it was a pleasure. Fred Scales, who's still going strong, and I'm still in touch with Fred. He used to do odd jobs as a lad working at S. Cornell, and we've got a picture of the old business card for S. Cornell's, and I think that was also in Victoria Road, if I remember rightly. Barry Ellis lived in Golding Street up through the alley. Hi Barry, thanks for getting in touch. And Richard Cripps also remembered Eagle Taxis having an office next door to the egg shop, and that reminded me, suddenly tipped the old memory box, and I thought, yes, I remember Eagle Taxis having an office next door to the egg shop. Chris Hooper, as I said earlier, remembers the blacksmiths that used to be opposite J.T. Levings. Angela Darby was able to remind me of the guy. You remember we were talking about the newsagents, which used to be, if we walk down here, because as I say, I used to live here in this house, and next door was the Benson's house, and of course attached to this house was Benson's scrapyard. And then next to the scrapyard was this little shop, which was a newsagent's and chocky shop, and Angela reminded me of that guy that used to run that newsagents, and it was a gentleman by the name of Leslie Scales, and he was Angela's granddad's first cousin. He died in 1983, and he was a very well-to-do gentleman. I do remember him quite distinctly, and he always used to wear a cravat and smoked a pipe. He was a very classy guy. But on the ceiling of that shop, I don't know whether anybody else remembers this, but there used to be a little model of a witch hanging up on the ceiling astride a broomstick, and it always used to freak me out as a kid, and I often wondered what became of that witch, because it was such a brilliant model. Very, very scary. So if anybody's got any photographs of the newsagents, I've got a couple which we'll put up on the screen, but they're taken from kind of far away. So if anybody's got any photographs of that newsagents taken a bit closer or outside, that would be terrific. There used to be a yellow house that stood at the top of Albert Street, halfway down Victoria Road, which you could see right opposite Albert Street, and it stood there for years empty, and one day it was demolished, and the entirety of Victoria Road was packed with people that had come to see this demolition, and we stood there watching it as kids. And what they did, they tied an enormous metal cable around the entire house, and then tied that cable to the back of a bulldozer, and the bulldozer just drove off and literally just pulled the house over. It was an extraordinary sight. I don't know whether any of you lot were there at that demolition and remember that, but that was quite an incredible experience. We mentioned Golding Street, which was opposite, and you used to walk up kind of through a little tunnel, and then there was a metal bollard, I believe, at the end of that tunnel, and then right on the right hand side there was a little garage in which they kept the hearse for Hickmott's funeral directors, and Hickmott's used to be up there past a row of houses kind of in the car park their premises was, and then there was a row of 4 houses on the right hand side, and then there was Varney Street, which kind of ran round and went up to what is now the precinct, and then next to Varney Street, the next street on the right, was Market Road, and we've got some pics of Market Road in a very derelict state shortly before it was all demolished, all the buildings, but we used to spend a lot of time playing up Market Road as kids, and it was my auntie that reminded me of Market Road and reminded me of what it used to be called. And then coming up Victoria Road, the wonderful thing is that all the old houses are exactly as they used to be on this side of the road, but everything on the other side, of course, has gone forever. But there used to be a big open car park at the top, opposite what was the Victoria Fish and Chip Bar. That went up to Boots, and a pub behind Boots on what I think was Varney Street, or it might have been Basinghall Road, I'll have to check my map, and it was a pub called the Alma. This is the alley that goes between the houses in Victoria Road, which used to go, well, it still does, goes to the backyards of all the houses. And somewhere in my archives I've got a photograph of me up here with my dad when I was probably only about 7 or 8 months old, and it was thick snow. But just for fun, we're going to go up here. I remember as a kid I used to be able to kind of force my arms and legs against here and go all the way up. I can't do it now. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. This is incredible seeing this like this, because this used to be a little shed and it was blue. Amazing. I'm not going to go battle too far down because it's a bit overgrown, there's a lot of stuff strewn, but just round the corner there's a set of steps that goes up and goes through another little alley, and it joins onto Good Station Road just round the corner. And as I say, we were down in the house almost at the bottom, I remember one day we had a tree in our garden, and I climbed the tree, and I got up the tree so high I was able to step across and get on the roof of the outside toilet, but I couldn't get back and I got stuck. And Mum had to get the next door neighbour with a ladder to come and get me down, and the tiles were red hot in the sunshine and it was burning my legs. I remember that very clearly. She wasn't very impressed. Anyway. We've come round to the other side of the alley, which is on Good Station Road. We're going to go down this alley and have a little peek down there. But I was just talking to the guy who lives here, and I was explaining to him that this used to be a shop many years ago, and it was a fruit and veg shop, and it was called Dad's Wells, run by Mr. and Mrs. Dadswell. Anybody else remember that? Anybody got any photographs of it? What it used to look like? That would be terrific. Let me know. But anyway, this is the... This is the alley I said that joined down to the bottom part of where we were just now. And I remember, this is just completely unchanged. I remember running up and down here as a child all the time. Yeah. I've got a photograph of me sitting on these steps with my dad in the snow when I was probably about 12 months old. This I remember as being a kind of builder's yard. It was always, there was a metal fence, and it was always full of bits of chimney and brickwork and tiles and things like that. Might have been something to do with John Jarvis. Not sure. Any information? Let me know. We mentioned earlier the Hickmott's funerals, and the fact this used to be an open car park, and there's some pictures coming up of that car park. Remember, we used to play in it when we were kids. I remember falling over in the snow, and I started sliding down the hill, and I actually went under the back of a car. I had to try and get myself back out up on the ice. Oh, great memories. Anyway, we're going to call it a day for this one. Thanks for watching. Keep the comments coming in, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers now.